Hey guys, Level Cap here, and welcome to This Week in Gaming, your weekly news update on everything going on in the world of video games. And this week we finally got a look at Battlefield 6's Season 2 content. Arc Raiders revealed what's in store for its next set of major updates. One of Cyberpunk 2077's biggest mods got taken down, and much more. Battlefield 6 is finally getting a large-scale vehicle-focused map. DICE revealed a teaser for two upcoming maps. One is called Contaminated, that looks like a reimagined Monte Grappa from Battlefield 1. The other is a remake of Battlefield 4's Golmud Railway. There's a ton of leaked gameplay circulating online of Contaminated, and overall it's looking like a pretty solid medium-sized map. But the Golmud remake is going to be a properly large map. In fact, they say it'll be Battlefield 6's biggest map yet. Obviously, the map will need some updates, and I'm expecting something similar to their remake of Operation Firestorm, with additional cover, expanded points of interest, and potentially a more condensed playable area. Going back and playing Golmud this week, it really stood out just how barren the map is. It's great if you want to zip around in a tank or a jet for an entire match, but a bit of a nightmare for infantry players. Hopefully DICE can find a middle ground that makes the vehicle players happy without making it too difficult for infantry. Season 2 for Battlefield 6 launches on February 17th. According to some leaks and rumors, Season 2 will feature two new maps like Season 1 did, with a map launching at the start of the season and a second launching halfway through it. Embark Studios is kicking off 2026 by putting Arc Raiders on a clear monthly update track, publishing a January through April roadmap. It's framing the next 4 drops as an escalation arc. January's update, titled Headwinds, is positioned as a smaller step focused on competitive and structural side of the game, anchored by a new matchmaking option for level 40 plus players, alongside a new minor map condition and another player project. February's Shrouded Sky is billed as a more substantial package, adding a new map condition and a new arc threat, while also introducing a Raider deck feature, a map update, and an expedition window, suggesting a more structured or time-bound layered to expeditions in addition to the ongoing player project cadence. March's Flashpoint continues the escalation with yet another map condition and another new arc threat, paired with a player project and a dedicated Scrappy update. April's Riven Tides is the clearest headline month. Embark is planning to ship a brand new map, introducing a new large-scale arc threat and another map condition, in addition to another expedition window. It'll be interesting to see if Arc Raider starts to cool off a bit over this period of time, with people getting caught up on all of the content. Will Embark's upcoming content be enough to satiate the massive player base that they've built, or does it seem like it might be a little thin to cover that period of time? Let me know what you think in the comments. Prolific VR modder Luke Ross had a wild week. Ross is known for software that converts traditional video games into near native VR experiences, including titles like Cyberpunk 2077, Elden Ring, Death Stranding, Doom Eternal, and The Last of Us Part 1. This week, however, CD Projekt Red issued a DMCA takedown against his VR mod for Cyberpunk, which is one of the most high-profile mods for the game. They say that charging for the mod violates the game's EULA and copyright law. CD Projekt Red reportedly offered to refrain from action if Ross made the mod free, while still allowing him to accept optional donations. Ross declined, and the DMCA followed. Ross maintains that his code is original. However, under US copyright law, a mod can still be treated as an unauthorized derivative work if it adapts how a copyrighted game is experienced, even when the mod's code is original and even if the same tool also works with other games. It's also worth pointing out that Ross was effectively making $20,000 a month via Patreon, so this was no small potatoes commercial enterprise. Charging for mods, especially while making that much money off of them, certainly opens yourself up to all kinds of legal issues. For now, Ross has suspended his Patreon updates for his tools, and it's unclear if he'll resume supporting them in the future. He claims that people are now pirating his mods in retaliation to removing them from Patreon. Ubisoft made sweeping cuts this week as part of a major restructuring, canceling development of 6 upcoming games and delaying 7 others. The restructuring will consolidate the company's developers under genre-specific creative houses, with one focused on their tentpole franchises like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. Another will focus on competitive and co-op shooters. Another will focus on fantasy games. When it comes to the canceled titles, it was revealed that the long-awaited Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake has been axed. The company's rumored Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake was just delayed. Luckily though, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still reportedly in active development. We're finally getting a new Fable game. Playground Games released a deep dive trailer announcing the next Fable game as an open world action adventure RPG that launches later this year. It's been 16 years and many false starts since the last Fable title. And while the new game has lots of callbacks and recreations of content from the previous games, it's not being developed by the original creators. Playground are most well known for their work on the Forza Horizon series of racing games. It'll be interesting to see how a studio with that sort of background translates such a legendary series for modern times. The visuals of the game look very good, and it seems to capture that sort of classic fairy tale vibe that Fable brought. It's also evolving the good and evil system, where you can either be an evil character or a good character, to more of an interesting gray zone, where some people might think you're good while others think you're bad. The Epic Games Store was in the news this week after data from their annual reporting revealed that they have nearly 300 million total users, but the platform only generated $255 million in third-party game revenue in 2024. By contrast, Steam is estimated to have around 150 to 200 million total users, with around 40 million online concurrently, and that platform generated over $2 billion for Valve in 2019 alone. Most analysts explain this by pointing out that Epic's business model of constantly offering free games to entice users to sign up for the store. New Blood Interactive revealed that their game Blood West actually saw a 200% increase in sales on Steam during its free-to-own promotion on the Epic Games Store this past December. Epic CEO Tim Sweeney reacted to this particular news, saying that Epic and Steam compete for each customer in each sale. On some transactions, Epic wins, on more, Steam wins, but one thing is constant: on every transaction, gamers and developers win by having more options and better deals. The publishing lead for Baldur's Gate 3 developer Larian Games responded to the statement, saying that Sweeney's altruistic pro-developer talk doesn't sit well when Remedy seemingly went into financial crisis because they couldn't tap Steam for Alan Wake 2 sales, suffering potentially hundreds of millions in lost revenue. Remedy's deal with Epic meant Alan Wake 2 was released as an Epic Store exclusive. Remedy defended Epic, saying that there would be no Alan Wake 2 without Epic publishing. Overall, my takeaway is that the game distribution industry is incredibly competitive. There's also a reason why some publishers, or developers rather, choose to release their games on their own websites. Releasing on Steam or even the Epic Games Store has a lot of downsides that are not often discussed on the consumer side of things, and I think it's very good that there's competing game distribution stores, because if there was only one, things could get really bad for both consumers and for developers. Now up next, if you haven't seen the crazy mod scene on Battlefront 2 made available by the Kyber server browser, this is something you really want to check out. It really is like the second coming of Battlefront 2. Feels like we're having a Battlefront 3 moment right now, and it feels like the modding community is quite literally saving Battlefront 2 and growing it into something well beyond what it was allowed to become.